Marriage ruins a woman's life. Marriage absolutely ruins a woman's life to the point of where she could potentially be put in a destitute place because of the reality that comes with being in proximity to a man. When you are in proximity to a group of people who are volatile, who are hostile, who are irritable, who are probably going through andropause, who are frustrated, who are angry, who can explode on command depending on whether they are able to regulate themselves, who fail to be emotionally literate individuals, all of that factors into their ability to receive more and more income. The more regulated you are, the quieter you are, the easier it is for you to digest the reality of other people's ability to pour into you from a financial perspective. The easier it is for you to grow as as an entity that eventually is going to have some form of economic progression. If you as a man are unable to control all of those things and use stoicism and masculine conditioning to basically be this imperceptible accoutrement to the overall container that you live inside of, and you attempt to be inside of a woman's life, you are ultimately dismissing the fact that the construct of patriarchy that she has to live inside of is an additional container that you are controlling by not being present in the relationship that the two of you are going to potentially have in the future. And what this does to that woman is it basically alienates her autonomy to connect with you and puts her in worker mode. She now recognizes that she's with someone prior to her even figuring it out beforehand, who is incapable of navigating their own individual world because they are playing the character inside of it. Like they don't have their own individual autonomy. And them not having that autonomy takes away that woman's autonomy if she lives, or simply because she lives in a patriarchal society, right? There are double standards that are automatically placed on top of this woman. So, how that destroys the marriage is that if you tell these people that they are legally bound, right, that the taxes that they receive are going to be potentially harsher, and that woman's going to be taxed more than that man is, or certain things that he is afforded, she's not going to be afforded, that there are going to be so many systems and are so many systems put in place to ensure that if that man leaves that home, doesn't take care of the children, or let alone decides that he no longer wants to take care of her, all of the things about her life are wrecked. Like are simply just like they're wrecked. And not only are they wrecked, if she does not follow a trail that is basically like hoed and sodded by men and by the systems that men create, her own path will have individuals who bring their own contradictions, who bring their own prohibitions, preventing her from seeing any kind of momentum in her own life because she is not following the path that men believe is necessary for women to follow if these women are holding proximity to these men or even allowing themselves to have proximity to these men. The reason why women are not getting married and why they're not having babies is far beyond the crotch level. But to make it easily digestible, economically and psychologically, it puts them in the space of a 12-year-old little boy. Emotionally discombobulated, inferior to those who are older and in better places, hormones all over the place, incapable of taking care of themselves, emotionally destitute, hungry all the time, not feeling good, picking up random sickness. It's like so many horrific things just happened to this woman's life by her being in proximity to a man because of the way that he, by other men, and by dismissal of the actions or the responsibilities that he should have picked up when he was an adolescent child, all of those things, they just affect this woman's life over and over and over and over and over again, and she cannot grow, right? To be married to that is to basically like give this binding contract to say, if this man's life is to go entirely to shit, you are fully aware that everything that happens afterwards is also your responsibility regardless, and that he is afforded the privilege of not having to fix anything that he wrecks behind because he's a man, and society and all constructs that support him will continue to do so. And if you do not cater to him or cater to the collective of people who are like him that run the job force and run the corporate world and run all of these systems, you cannot function and prosper in your life. Women are opting out because they're recognizing, well, if I have to live in this system, I'm going to live in it as comfortably as possible. This is why they don't want women to be single and why they're forcing them to have babies or be in relationships in some way, shape, or form, because they recognize that women are capable of growing at an exponentially faster, like an alarming faster rate than men can. That they can transcend in multiple ways while literally building ecosystems on ecosystems inside of their bodies. And that is something that men are completely incapable of comprehending and or understanding because of the simple fact that patriarchy forces them to stay so one-dimensional intellectually and constantly need other men to validate them through their own individual experiences. Women have fully been aware of that and are basically raising these men through these relationships. I don't think women should get married at all. And this is great because men will disagree with this, because most men want to marry women because that's what they believe the best part of life is to be. It's like you grow old, you get a job, you get super strong, you get muscles in the gym, you get a great job, you get an education, and then you start a family and your life is complete. Even, and I won't get anecdotal, but just to make a small little like cutout, even as an LGBTQ man, which most men will probably reduce me to regardless, my experience outside of my sexuality is so much larger because of the simple fact that I was not raised with the intention of marrying, or I, even though I was raised after getting outside and not having an attraction to women, I could view them as people rather than viewing them as milestones that checked off specific boxes for my life. To know that the reality that women live in from a perspective of a man who is potentially going to pursue her in the future is to be a baby maker and a homestead wife over long periods of time to cater to this person in every way, shape, or form without actually providing any domestic labor or any intellectual labor or actually like creating a solid foundation for this woman to actually have a functioning life. It's such an inhumane thing to digest, to just see that women have literally just been dissected and reduced to nothing but a concept for men to digest and take advantage of consistently. It's a very sad world to live in, and I think that more men should understand that before even thinking about marriage. So if you're a woman and you're between the ages of 20 to 30, don't talk to men. One take.